So how to stay motivated in Geometry Dash? It's got to do with mindset and to develop great mental strength, which brings motivation to a whole new level. So it's a matter of changing your perspective, and yes, I believe anyone can do this. For example, sometimes it's not about progression or getting a new best or beating the level on that day. The more you play, naturally you will become better. Sometimes results don't come instantly. It comes with patience. With this mindset, it makes the game more enjoyable and you won't be too hard on yourself when you're not playing well. Knowing that Geometry Dash is a marathon and not a sprint. It requires patience and time to improve. Nobody becomes a god in Geometry Dash overnight. Riot took 8,000 attempts to beat Clubstep, and then he became one of the legends in the game today. Understand it does take a while to get decent at the game, so the one thing that makes me stay on track is setting up and reaching my goals. Let me explain. Short-term goals, long-term goals, and ultimate goals. Looking solely at long-term or even ultimate goals is like looking at a big mountain like Mount Everest. It's super intimidating and a lot of people would shy from it. I get it, because I used to be like this, and it just looks impossible. For example, when 9 Circle was my hardest, Bloodbath just seemed impossible to do, right? Well, I just took small steps, and every step I took brought me closer. If I look up at the enormous mountain ahead of me, I might never take the first step. But if I take that first step, my focus is always on the next step, and I continue to take these small steps. Soon, I will gain so much progress and momentum. And by the time I've achieved so many small goals, Bloodbath was just around the corner, with beating several hard, insane, and extreme demons, which were Cataclysm, Acute, and Thanatophobia at the time. These were my small goals leading me towards my big goal. Tackling my goal and trying to improve day by day made this possible. And knowing I won't conquer everything immediately, patience is key. With progress like this, will create confidence and strength to move forward again and again. Having no goals or direction is like sailing a ship. You can have the best ship in the world, but if the captain doesn't know where to go, you'll have no destination and you will be lost and drift into the sea in the middle of nowhere. Setting yourself goals and reaching them gives you little victories, which gains you confidence, and you would feel more driven to pick up the mouse and play. This is why the gddp is such a good guide for people who are stuck and don't know what to do next. It gives them a map on what levels to play before advancing to harder levels. People ask me why I don't use gddp. The sole reason is because I have mapped my own levels I want to beat, and I'm just sticking to that path. The gddp is what I firmly believe in myself as well. I always tell people to do at least 5 of the same demon difficulties before advancing. So if you feel a little lost, use the gddp guide. It's extremely helpful, and I'll leave a link for you guys down below. For the new Geometry Dash players, there is a cheat sheet that I made for all the orbs, portals, and etc. If you want a copy of this, I'll leave a link for this down below as well. Alright, let's keep going. Never compare yourself with others. It's a waste of time and it can make you demotivated. It's a race against yourself. Set your own pace and try to achieve them. However, a friendly rivalry with your friends can give you a competitive edge, but that's only if you guys are competitive and willing to help each other. Kinda like brothers and sisters entering a sporting event together. When you don't feel like playing but trying to start your engine, I use the 2-minute rule method. It's like starting to write an essay. When you look at the blank page, it's intimidating to write the whole thing. What I do and say to myself, write anything for 2 minutes. It could be on how is my day going or how I'm feeling at the moment. After 2 minutes, the momentum swings and I continue writing for long periods of time. I truly believe movement creates momentum. So what do I do to start my engine in Geometry Dash? I play something more simple like daily levels. Once I'm done with that, then I would practice the level I want to play. For me, it's so much easier to transition from an easy fun level to the level I'm practicing, rather than starting from nothing to the level I'm currently trying to beat. I see a lot of people are scared of attempts, or they are scared to reach, let's say, 20,000 attempts on a new hardest. If they do reach over 20,000 attempts, they seem to be saddened by it and get demotivated to play. This should never be the main drive for beating levels. Yes, it's cool if people beat levels at a fast speed with low attempts, but why does that even matter? Think about this. Yeah, it feels good to beat it with low attempts. However, it also feels good to beat something with high attempts. After you took countless of hours of hard work into it, you would feel more of a connection with that level, and I would say you would feel more appreciated this way. Remember in school, there was a difficult subject you just quite could not grasp, but you took a longer time to study and figure it out. Then a test comes back and showed that you passed with good marks. Then you would feel, damn, all that hard work has paid off. Didn't that just feel satisfying? Think about it. This is the same feeling when you take a longer time to beat levels. So let me give you an example of my own experience. So when I went to the gym, I felt the ones who were naturally talented in terms of building muscles quicker, they seem to get bored quite easily and just stop going after a while. But the ones who saw small growth were consistently pushing themselves and lasted the longest because every small achievement they felt happiness and wanted to come back more. So with GD, even if it takes time for every small goal you successfully achieve, it gives you a sense of reward which keeps you motivated and wanting to keep the momentum going. Therefore, this makes you stay determined for your next goal. This will gain you confidence and be more equipped in skills, which develops a good mindset to stay on track. This is why many artists, including myself, respect people who put tons of attempts in a level when they completed it. I've said this to my audience before and I'll say it again, every attempt gets you closer to beating the level. Or what SiKky said, the number of attempts in a level doesn't say you're a bad player, it means the number of times you didn't give up. Honestly, one of the best quotes I ever heard in GD. Also, another good way to practice, at least for me, is not to think or look at attempts until you beat the level. When you have been stuck on a level, look back how far you have come since day one from practicing the level. For myself, levels like Bloodbath, in the beginning, I was just horrible because it was my hardest at the time. I remember my first week of learning it, it was just super inconsistent. But after a month of playing Bloodbath, I realized how far I've come. And the more days I played, it just seems more possible to beat it, which gave me a lot of confidence and gives me the belief that I'm getting closer to victory. I have a question that was asked, what would you say about dealing with huge fails? For example, 95% plus deaths. Also, do you have any tips on nerf control? This is a great question because dealing with 95% fails can be heartbreaking. I get it. But also understanding that you are closer to slaying the level, you will approach it with more confidence knowing that you can beat it now. Nerfs are what everybody experiences and it's something that we cannot avoid. Nerfs do die down a bit when you reach the ending more often. And one thing that has helped me when I'm far is to take a deep breath. Deep breaths is one of the best ways to lower stress in the body. This is because it sends a message to your brain to calm down and relax. Most people crumble under pressure, including myself, but eventually winners thrive under pressure. Without pressure, there will be no diamonds. Without challenges, we will never grow. Challenge strengthens you, setbacks makes you wiser. Don't be afraid to face your challenges. There is no such thing as failure. You either win or you learn. If you hide or run from challenges, you will never know your true potential. Understand this. When there's no pressure, there's no diamonds. When there's no struggle, there's no strength. When there's no challenges, there's no greatness. Push through the pressure. You will have setbacks and failures. There will be some days you won't get a new best. That's okay. I want to show you a quote from Rocky and it says, you or me or nobody's gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Strong mind equates to success. I'll admit, I'm not the best mechanically, and I also take a while to learn to beat a level. My advice is to enjoy the journey. What I love about when I get to a new level is learning everything. When you learn everything about the level, it may be super exciting or frustrating, but I believe it's mostly fun. Because you could be progressing a lot compared to later in the journey where you could fluke the level or get stuck on it. I've been stuck on a level for a while. I was stuck on 97% of Bloodbath for a week before beating it, and I was stuck on SiKky health for another month after 88%. Yes, there were times when I felt demotivated and just wanting to give up. But I remind myself and say, look how far I've come. Do I want to throw all that effort I put into it and time away? Hell no. So I continue with the mindset of how much I've improved since the first few days of playing. This will be worth it when I beat it. This is what keeps me motivated when I'm stuck. My other advice is when you do get stuck and don't feel like touching the level at all, play a different level, preferably an easier level, then get back to it once you feel ready. Remember, great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance. Another thing I want to talk about is doing big jumps. Now, do I recommend it? Short answer, not really. Long answer, let me explain why. Now, I've done jumps in the past, but they aren't as huge jumps. They were 9 circles to Windy Landscape, Psychosis to Cataclysm, and my biggest jump was Aku to Bloodbath. I was lucky and fortunate enough to enjoy the levels and put in 49,000 attempts into Bloodbath. It was a long journey. But for others, it wasn't as fortunate. I don't recommend big jumps because if you don't make it, what do you have to fall back on? Usually I see bitterness and not willing to pick up the game because of the torture people went through by playing a level that was out of their skill range. For example, Mephiwi tried to jump from Deco to Sonic Wave and died at 98% and quit the game for good. Mephiwi isn't the only person I know who tried to do big jumps and failed and never got back into GD. Like, we hear and know people who have done huge jumps and successfully made it, but this is such a tiny percentage of people who actually have done it. Like Deco to 9 Circles, 9 Circles to Aku, even Bloodbath to Tartarus. I would confidently say most people don't make it. And even if they do, they spend so much time and just mentally preparing themselves to keep taking jabs, which is mentally straining. We hear these stories because people who actually made it usually showcase it on Twitch or YouTube, but the ones who don't make the jump, either they got super demotivated or just never came back into GD. In my opinion, when you do smaller jumps, it will motivate you even more when you beat levels because your next hardest doesn't seem like you're facing a big mountain. Your mind loves to celebrate when you achieve something. This will happen more often as doing smaller jumps will equate to more celebration. Now, I'm not telling you to prevent yourself from doing big jumps. I'm just being cautious. We as a community don't want to see you get discouraged and don't enjoy the game anymore. We dashers want to see you stick around, but if you have the motivation to do so and really believe in yourself, then go for it. You do you. Another small tip is to take breaks. I'm guilty of this one because I stream for long periods of time, but taking breaks is extremely OP. Every time I've taken a short break after struggling, I always play so much better. It is also better for our fingers and our mind, which leads to less stress and more better gameplay experience. For me, when motivation is lost, I tend to watch better players on Twitch or YouTube. Watching better players or anyone in particular gives me excitement and the motivational spark to pick up the mouse and play again. So why is this? Have you ever thought to yourself you were good at something, whether it was an instrument, game, or sport, and then you saw somebody else did the thing you were good at, but so much better? This makes us think to ourselves, oh wow, there's so much more I can learn, and makes us wanting to improve on that craft. That's what it's like to watch better players. Playing together with friends can make the experience really enjoyable. So if you want to make or find friends in the GD community, you can find them on Twitch, YouTube, Reddit, Discord servers, and many more. I have a Discord server with over 1200 people who are just very uplifting and wholesome. So if you want to make not just friends, but friends who have lovely souls, join the server. Like and subscribe if this motivated you. And if you know somebody who needs motivation, send them this video. And hit the bell icon to never miss videos like this. Remember, you are awesome. And as always, happy dashing. What the hell?